What's happening, bitches? This video is rated MadSlick for strong violence and strong language. And if you have hurt feelings, who gives a shit? Watch or leave, bitch.
What up, ass bags? MadSlick got another video for you. Game of Domination on Mission. Using the MK46. Got 3 perks. Don't know which ones they are because I don't remember. Don't really care. Got a javelin. Get a double kill first blood with it. Like the javelin. It's fun to use when you can, but doesn't take a whole lot of skill. So I don't need to tell you all that shit anyways, because y'all can see it anyway, you know, with your own eyes and shit. So I don't know why I even tell you guys. But I know today is Monday, so I know there's a lot of people out there who've got a case of the Mondays, as they'd say in office space. So I'm going to bring you a story that might make you feel a little bit better about your day, because it was a pretty messed up time in my life. Well, you know what, let me tell you a different story. Okay, so it's not going to be about a time in my life. It's going to be about some stuff that has happened throughout my entire life. Well, not my entire life, but for a majority of my life that is kind of messed up, and yeah, it might make you feel a little bit better about your day because I've gotten past it. So those who don't know me, as it says on my channel page, my name is Paul. I'm half white and I'm half Mexican. My last name, I'm not going to tell you my last name, but my last name is Scottish or Irish in origin, depending on where you come from. Sometimes people even say it's Welsh in origin. But I do not look like I'm Irish or Scottish or Welsh. I don't even really look like I'm white. I actually look like I'm pure Mexican. So growing up, being half white, half Mexican, where I lived, it wasn't always like this, but at some point they started building cheaper housing out where I lived. So a lot of gang members from LA, Los Angeles, parents moved them out this way, thinking that it was a good way to get their kids out of gangs, was to move them out this way, not realizing that all the other gang bangers were moving out this way too. So basically they were just transporting the gangs with them. So gangs are notorious for being highly racist. I look like I could have been a gangbanger, but my name didn't sound like I could have been a gangbanger. So my high school developed a real strong racial separation. The Mexican guys didn't want to hang out with anybody who wasn't Mexican. The white guys didn't want to hang out with anybody who wasn't white, and some of the black guys didn't want to hang out with anybody who wasn't black. And the same thing went for the women too, or the girls at my school too. They all kind of acted the same as the guys did. So me being half white and half Mexican, looking Mexican but with a name that sounded white, I experienced a lot of racism in high school. You know, a lot of the white guys didn't want to be my friend because I looked Mexican. A lot of the Mexican guys didn't want to be my friend because my name sounded white. So I ended up getting past all this by meeting some of my best friends through high school. A group of black guys that, even to this day, even though I don't have a whole lot of contact with them, you know, I still talk to a couple of them on Facebook, but you know, I haven't really hung out with them in years. Even to this day, though, if they needed me for anything, they know that I'm there for them. And I'm sure the same thing, you know, vice versa. But throughout high school, you know, it was a rough time. I mean, experienced racism every day. I mean, it was rough. I mean, there was even a riot at my school because I don't remember the exact situation, but I think a black person slapped or punched a white girl, or so, I don't know, it's something like that, and that started off this whole chain of events that, you know, even the Mexican guys got involved, and there's this big old fight and there's riots and all this kind of shit. And it wasn't like the LA riots, but I mean, there was like, at one point, I think it was at lunch, because we used to have 2 lunch periods. I think it was first lunch. I think there was like 9 different fights going on. It's kind of funny now when you think about it, but at the time, yeah, it was pretty stupid. So I've had my share of experience with racism. For those who haven't seen the video from earlier, it would have been out on the 27th or 26th of October. My wife is black, which makes my youngest son half black, a quarter white, and a quarter Mexican. So he's a mix of everything. And I have no issues with race with anybody at all. You know, there's people nowadays who have an issue with Arabs and stuff like that. I don't, because I know that not everybody. You know, you can't take the worst of a group of people and pigeonhole everybody into that group. So, after I graduated high school, I guess you could say I had a lot of issues. I was real bitter because, you know, my time in high school was rough, and yeah, just various things. I had a bad attitude about life, so I did some stupid shit. Nothing that bad. I didn't sell drugs or murder anybody or burglarize or anything like that. It was actually more stuff that if it had been 4 months earlier, I would have gotten a ticket and a slap on the wrist. But what I did ended up getting me sent to jail for a total of about 33 days. 34 days. Part of that was spent actually inside of a jail, and the majority of it was spent working for the city yards, cleaning up the city, you know, picking up trash, doing, you know, yard work, basically down the sidewalks and stuff like that. Basically what you see the guys doing on the side of the freeway, except for it wasn't with Caltrans, it was the city yards, and it was a lot more fun than what Caltrans would have been. But I was working a regular job, so I was working 5 days a week, upwards of 12 hours a day. Plus I had to go do Saturday and Sunday weekends, a minimum of 8 hours up to 10 hours on Saturday and Sunday of basically yard work all day. And this is during the summer. Summers in California get hot, so it was a rough time. But the time that I spent actually in jail was where I experienced probably the most racism I've ever seen in my life. I mean, this is jail. This isn't prison. This isn't San Quentin, Folsom, or anything like that. This is just county jail. And my first day that I was actually in the jail, I went to go use the phone, because the jail that I was in, you didn't have cells yet. It was like a dorm, and they had like 48 or 50 beds in there, and that's how many people were in each dorm. And there was 6 phones. There was 3 on each wall, and there was no requirement like you could only use it once a day or something like that. It was just you could use it whenever you want, but it was only collect calls. So, you know, it's not like everybody would accept a collect call. So I went to go use the phone, and I believe I called my mom at the time, just to let her know that I was okay and everything. And while I was on the phone, this group of probably 12 or 15 Mexican guys comes walking up to me, and they tell me I can't use that phone. And I'm like, why not? And they say because that's sort of, and they used more colorful terms, but they say that's for the black guys. And I go, well, they don't have a problem with it. Why do you? And at that point, they all started to puff up their chest and, you know, getting ready to fight with me and stuff like that. All this over using apparently the wrong phone. So luckily, I had already, I guess you could say, befriended one of the black guys that I was in jail with. He was a Crip. I guess you could say I kind of befriended him more out of safety than anything. Just trying to be, you know, cool and trying to keep from getting on people's bad sides. Well, you know, obviously there was a bunch of other black guys in there, so they all stood up, and they came and stood up for me. They got in between me and the group of Mexican guys, and they told them, you know, we don't have a problem with them using our phones, so you guys don't need to either. And there was about to be this big old, you know, throwdown between these guys. Luckily, the guards saw it, and they came in and broke it all up and stuff like that. But I couldn't believe it. I mean, this is just jail. I mean, these people are in there maybe doing a few months at a time. Where does this come from? You know, why does it have to be that way? So feel better about your Mondays that you're not in jail and you're not dealing with racism on a constant basis. Hopefully you're not. If you do, you have my, I don't know, sympathy. But 33-9, we win. Too bad, so sad. Fuck you. Peace out.
Kiosk Entertainment.